everyone, welcome back to this week's Friday Fireside Chat with Haley. I'm Haley, and this week I've got none other than Jake Firehammer with me. So this week's Friday Fireside Chat, we're going to go over maybe some service things. So Jake, go ahead, say hi, introduce what you do here, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Hello everyone, so my name is Jake Firehammer. I am the shop foreman here at Bullion RV. So I work back in the shop with our service technicians, kind of keeping everything moving, making sure things are getting in, out, and fixed properly. So I've been with Bullion for quite a while now, and it's that's kind of my role. So I work back in the shop, keep the flow going, make sure campers are getting back to the customers.
Really important. Jake has a really key job here. One thing about Bullion RV, so we are located here in Duluth, Minnesota, right off of Lake Superior. We are a family-owned business, so we don't have all kinds of extra employees that can come here, help out for a busy weekend or something like that. So we really have to work together great as a team to really keep that flow going, and Jake is really good at kind of keeping everybody on task between sales and service and text and all of that. So really super great. So one of the big questions that a lot of people ask when they maybe first buy a camper, or maybe they're a couple campers in, is what is the typical or recommended maintenance for a camper?
So there are, a number of things that are important to upkeeping your camper and kind of protecting your investment. The biggest thing that I would recommend is to stay on top of the roof sealant and the sealant on your camper. That's one of the things we frequently see kind of goes overdue, and what that can do is it can allow some water intrusion into the camper, which of course is not good. It can cause damage and lower the value of the camper. So keeping up on the roof sealant is very important. We offer the service here at Bullion to get up there, reapply sealant where it's needed, inspect the entire roof, to kind of give you that peace of mind to make sure you're not worried about that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because maybe not everybody knows, but most people know that water is a camper's worst enemy.
It is, yes. It can take a really nice camper and really take it downhill quick.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So with some of that, outside of the recommended maintenance, there are other videos and there are checklists and other things like that. But speaking of checklists, so one of the things that we had touched base on in one of my previous videos that you can go back and watch with one of our techs, Jen, she talked about doing a PDI, which is a pre-delivery inspection. So Jake, could you maybe expand on how that pre-delivery inspection is run, what that checklist kind of looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So delivery, just if that term sounds a little weird, that's the term we use to describe when the camper is leaving our facility and going to the customer. So a pre-delivery inspection, we get the camper in, several days prior to the customer picking the unit up, and we go through a multi-point inspection. I brought one of the sheets. You're not going to be able to read it here on the camera, but it's a pretty comprehensive list of things that we go through and we inspect on these campers. And it's really our goal to make sure that we've done our best to make sure that you go out for that first weekend and you don't run into issues with it. Things can still come up, but we do here at Bullion really go through a comprehensive list and try to make sure we can catch everything that's possible to make sure that the camper's in fully working order and ready for you when you pick it up.
That's huge. That's huge. Now, a lot of manufacturers, so I just got the privilege of being able to visit a few different manufacturers. I was out at Grand Design, and then I was out at the Winnebago factory. A lot of the times, those manufacturers will do their own PDI or some kind of a checklist before it leaves and comes to the dealership. However, in your experience, you've noticed that sometimes things do happen. I mean, realistically, these things are going down the road at 75 miles an hour, and they're not always going to be completely perfect when they arrive at the dealership. So this is one good way for the dealership to check all those extra boxes, so when you guys take them away, they are really in the best condition that we can put them in. But in your experience, you've noticed their pre-delivery inspection is good, but ours also helps make sure that the camper is really in good shape.
Yeah, certainly. The manufacturers do go through, they do check the units. Depending on the manufacturer, they'll do like a spot check. So every 5th unit will get a full inspection and the other ones just get a quick walkthrough. And it varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. And of course, in their busy times, that might lapse a little bit. In their slow times, they might be a little more, religious about it. But we, every unit that leaves here that's sold to a customer, whether it's new or used, does get a very thorough inspection to make sure that nothing was missed at the factory. There aren't any issues that you're going to run into. Once again, things can happen, things can break, but we make sure that when it leaves here, it is ready to go for you.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess I kind of missed that. So thanks for covering that base. That, manufacturers don't check every single unit, but we do here, which is huge. Yep. So that really helps, put people's minds at ease, which is really good. Another thing that we do is we have, and Jen talked about this too, of doing orientations with our customers. I don't know how many dealerships, and you have a little bit more background with dealerships and things than I do, kind of go into that and what that really brings to the customer experience, doing those orientations.
Yeah, so another thing that we do with every unit that leaves bullion is we make sure that the technician that did the inspection on your unit, so say Jen, which you met with before, say she did the inspection on this. We're sitting in a beautiful new Solitude right now. The inspection on this unit would have taken her about 5 hours to do. So it's not something that gets rushed through. So she would have done the inspection prior to the customer coming to pick it up. And then when the customer comes, Jen is going to take the time with the customer to go through the unit and not only show them how it works, but show them that it works, so that the customer can see, the furnace running, the AC running, the water system functioning properly. She'll go around, she'll turn every light on and off with the customer. So if you've previously owned a unit and you're here, it might be a little bit of repeat knowledge that you already have, but for that new first-time camper, it's so important that you're not just hooking onto this thing, going out, and then, kind of going into the first weekend blind. So we take a lot of time with the customers, as much time as they need. Typically, an orientation takes about an hour. So we go through, we make sure we show them everything to do with the camper, so all their questions are answered right up front.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think it's huge too, even for people who've had campers before. As we know, the RV industry changes all the time. I mean, in this Solitude, the TV comes right out from the entertainment center. That's not always the case, and that hasn't always been the case. So maybe 2-3 years ago, that wasn't as common. So just showing them how to get their TV to come up out of the entertainment center. Things like that are really, really key. Oh, I just hit the buzzer. So with that, going into the RV industry, there are a lot of, with where we're at, I should preface this, with where we're at, we're in northern Minnesota, so there is highs and lows of busy times within our location. How does that relate to the service industry? Do you guys have busy times? Are you pretty steady throughout the whole year? Maybe kind of touch on that a little bit if you could.
Yeah, so, some areas in the southern part of the country, they kind of stay pretty steady year-round. Right now it's about 9 degrees outside here, so nobody's thinking about camping right now. As soon as we get that first spit of warm weather, as soon as spring is in the air, I'll tell you, hey, our phone is ringing off the hook in the service department, because folks are thinking about camping. Maybe their campers had some issues the year before when they put it away, and they want to get those addressed before they go out. I would say April, May, June, depending on when we get our nice weather, we really are at the peak of our busy season, and at that point, we prioritize customers that have issues that keep them from camping. So an example would be if the slide out is not functioning, we would want to get that customer and get that looked at so they don't lose out on camping time. If, someone's got a couple pieces of trim or maybe one of the ceiling lights isn't working, it's not necessarily going to keep you from camping, and we would much rather you keep the unit, camp with it, and bring it to us when we're, a little more caught up in the service department. So it is kind of tough once that time hits, because kind of everybody wants to get in and get stuff addressed right away. Yeah. My recommendation would be, definitely call and get something set up well before your first planned trip. With parts orders and stuff like that, sometimes things can take longer than we anticipate, and we have such a short camping season around here that it's really a shame to miss out on time if that's not necessary.
Yeah, for sure. I think too, spring, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, spring is, people are, where we're at, we get lots of snow, so digging out their campers, and then they find that maybe critters tried to make a home, or something happened over the winter where, the snow kind of blocked something off that then now has to be addressed, or maybe someone got a little aggressive with the plow and plowed into the camper on accident. I mean, things happen, so it's I can see where spring would be a busy season for you guys. Although I will say we have, 24 service bays here.
Correct.
And they are pretty much full all year round. So there are usually never empty bays, and if it's empty, it's only because something just went out, and then Jake is the one who makes sure that flow keeps going, and something else is coming right back in.
Yep. Yeah, my job is to keep our shop open and keep the technicians working. So Haley's right, 24 service bays. And we do stay moving and rocking. Right now the shop is completely full of units being worked on. So we do stay busy year-round, whereas we're not looking for stuff to do. However, spring is definitely the time where we start to have, we're forced to start to push appointments back, just as our lot fills up with service units, and we're doing our best to keep up with that. So I would say definitely plan ahead for your first trip, as well as if it's fall and there's some issues, or you want to get some work done before that next camping season, bring it to us. Have us look at it fall. We're typically able to get at units much quicker. So typically within a few days of you dropping it off, we'll be able to get it diagnosed, and then you can put the camper away with a clean bill of health, so it's ready to go for next year.
Yeah, that's great advice. So one last question I have for you, and do you have maybe some insider information on the new addition that's going to be coming to our service area, the wash bot?
Yes. So
yeah, super exciting.
So we purchased something, and it's actually getting delivered Monday. So
that's exciting.
I don't know when this airs, but in just a few days we'll have, it is called a wash bot. It's designed for washing RVs or like large semi-trucks, and we will be implementing it into the service and detail department here, so that if your unit is in for service and you want to wash, these are big units, and it's not something you can really take through a car wash, and it's a lot of work to do at home.
Probably not recommended. Don't take them through the car wash.
No. So if you're in for service and you want to get the RV washed, inquire about it. We're going to have pricing up pretty soon for washing. But picture a car wash that you go through with your car, but it's about twice that big, and it's mobile, so we can wheel it around the shop and go up to units and give them a nice wash. So that's going to be something that's coming soon, and that's an exciting addition. Yeah,
that'll be really exciting. And the fact that it's mobile will really help out. Not mobile, we're not going to go to you at the cabin and wash your camper.
Unfortunately not.
Not quite that mobile, but mobile within our facility. So then that way it's not where you have to, we got to get this unit out so we can get this other one in. So as far as you and flow goes, because you've really talked about keeping that flow going, that'll be a really huge help to you, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be really nice. There's not going to be a specific bay here in the shop that I have to put the unit in to wash. The unit can be washed in any of the bays as well as outside the facility. So the wash spot's able to be moved outside, like right outside the doors if it's a nice day, and wash the unit, get it all cleaned up. Maybe you were down some gravel roads or something like that on your last trip, and so we can blow all that off for you. Definitely, if you're in for service, ask about that.
For sure, that's huge. Well, do you, Jake, have any last advice, any last information that would be really helpful for our viewers before we conclude this week's episode of Friday Fireside Chat?
No, I would just say, we're coming up on our open house show, and after that, before we know it, spring is right around the corner. Fingers crossed, at least, that we don't still have snow in June. But I think it's going to be an exciting camping season, a busy camping season. Definitely, if you're thinking about it or if you know that there's service needed, call in, speak with one of our advisors. Nathan's up there, he's answering the phone. Definitely get something set. We can schedule appointments out several months. So if you know when you get the unit out of storage or you know when your first trip is, definitely reach out and get something scheduled before our appointment books filled up.
Yeah, for sure. So give us a call. Our number is 218-729-9111. Just let the gal know or whoever answers the phone that you're looking to talk with service, and they'll shoot you right over to service, and we'll get you squared away. So thanks, Jake, for coming on. This was a great week, great information for you guys. If you guys are liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, leave in the comments maybe some different ideas, topics that you guys want to hear about, maybe some questions, RV questions that you guys have, and we have a really great team here, so we'll really be able to, utilize who we have and the experts that we have within our building to, help get you guys the content that you're looking for. So with that, have a great week.